What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebris, and Zero Sievert is a fantastic top-down hardcore survival game that happens to be one of the most accessible experiences of the genre, with familiarities to the predecessors of the genre, a Tarkov-style hideout, and really solid weapon customization. Even though Zero Sievert wears its inspirations on its sleeve, it comes together as one of the best hardcore shooters with a casual experience. So today, let's talk about what you get in this game and why you should consider picking it up if you enjoy hardcore shooters with survival elements in them. So what is Zero Sievert? It's essentially an extraction shooter with a bunch of roguelike elements baked into a hardcore survival game. Pretty much, if you've ever played Tarkov, you'll instantly be familiar with the gameplay loop. You head off into maps to get fat loot, and hopefully survive to extract and then profit. But where this game throws a fun curveball into the formula is with small randomizing elements on each map, meaning that each run will play out slightly differently from the last. Your home base is the bunker, and this is where we start to see some elements of Stalker, with the bunker feeling very similar to a faction camp in the Stalker series. You have the barkeep, where you can pick up food, early game munitions, and quests. The doctor, where you can heal yourself and buy proper medical supplies, as well as the Green Army, which is unlocked later on in the game but offers mid-game weaponry and ammunition. Then there's your shelter, which you can upgrade with a variety of modules that offer passive buffs. There's a lot of room for this to grow and get flushed out by the developers, but for now it's a decent shelter system with a good amount of grind to it. You can craft things at your workbench, as well as customizing and repairing weapons, and this is where a lot of that grind goes to, as earning rubles is a pretty easy deal once you get the hang of the game. Then lastly, there's the Conductor, and this is how you access all of the other maps. After finishing up a simple quest for him, he'll open up the further areas for you to head to. For now, there are 5 maps, with a 6th one being worked on, and all of them offer a fantastic variety to the raids that you'll head out on. Because it's the raids that really bring a ton of fun elements to the mix. Imagine Tarkov raids, but with Stalker-esque anomalies and randomizing elements like enemy camps, wandering hunters, bosses, both fixed and roaming, and then their own set elements that you can expect to see every time you raid through the map. It's pretty sick, actually, man. Forest has 2 main set pieces as well as Igor, who will give you random loot after completing a task for him. The first set piece for Forest is the Lumberyard, which is heavily occupied by bandits. It's a great area in the early game to earn some rubles or to go test a new weapon out at. Then there's the Village, and Village is where you'll find the boss of the area. It's also got a shit ton of mutants too, but offers a lot of crafting materials, plus whatever you get yourself off the boss, namely his weapon and decent ammunition for it. This is the first map that you have access to, so you wind up getting really familiar with it. Though, again, the fun thing in raids for Zero Sievert are the randomizing elements, like Green Army bases or little pockets of bandits, that keep things interesting as you head through the map. And just like all extraction shooters, you have to extract to actually get the stuff you gather along the way. The rest of the maps follow the whole procedural thing, so I'll just highlight some of the features of these maps and leave the rest for you to explore, and then we'll talk about why this game's so accessible, and yet still maintains its hardcore nature. So for Makeshift Camp, this is the second map of the game, and namely the place with the junk store. This guy's essential for building up your shelter quickly, as well as maintaining a good supply of the junk items you'll need to use for crafting. This map also houses the easiest electric anomalies to farm, which is really useful for a quest you get later on in the game. Then Industrial, and this map's one of my favorites, mostly for the faction that it introduces, but also because it bumps the bar up for survival, with much more radiation and dangerous enemies like mutant nests and better-geared hunters. But the main highlight of this map are the Crimson guys. These dudes sell some of the best gear in the game, and once you have access to their store, it's a place you'll be making repeat trips to, even if it costs a ton of money in the process. The second last map is Maul, and if you've ever played Interchange in Tarkov, you'll be immediately familiar with this map. But it's still a really fun rendition of one of my favorite Tarkov maps. And it even has Killa, but ironically, Killa is almost always dead when I find him. Either way, it offers great close quarters and some pretty spicy moments for a top-down shooter. With enemies having even better gear here, and possibly some of the best in the game, you'll always be walking out of the mall with a ton of weapons to sell. There's also the gun store, which can be profitable or good for weapon parts. These locked doors are all over these maps, and finding keys to them isn't always easy, but they tend to offer a bunch of loot in return for it. For the last map, the one that feels maybe the least developed of the bunch, Swamps. Though it's still a really interesting and difficult map to explore. Swamp's main feature is a bandit camp with an underground sewer system that really stretches out, feeling like one of the first proper dungeons, for lack of a better word. There isn't any high-level loot or anything, but there's plenty of radiation and bandits to fight, and the map can actually be pretty good for grinding experience out on, provided you have the radiation supplies to last. Now, what about Zero Sievert makes it a hardcore game for casuals? Which, I know, it's a pretty spicy title for a video. But it's the latest update that brings in a new feature of difficulty options that's really well done. You have the option to customize every factor of the game to your liking, from being incredibly difficult and even adding permadeath to being a relatively easy experience. Personally for me, I kept everything at the medium difficulty except for loot, as I enjoy a more loot-rich experience. But that's how it meets you on your level, and that's something really cool, I think. Not enough games let you customize the entire experience, and this feature is great to see in Zero Sievert. Then there's looking ahead for Zero Sievert. As of right now, it's a great game, but it's still in early access and is begging to be flushed out. So the roadmap was released just a few days back, and it's looking pretty dang good. With daily quests on the way, there will be new reasons to play, alongside new loot and some pretty essential fixes. Then looking even further ahead, an inventory system overhaul, which is exciting. There's a lot of potential in having a really cool inventory system mixed with the sort of PDA that you have currently for your journal and stuff, and so that one will be right cool to see flushed out. As well as throwables, which will be sick. There's so many times I wish I could pop a grenade out. So it's great to see Zero Sievert moving in a forward direction on top of adding its new accessibility features to help even more players get into the game. So let me know, have you played Zero Sievert yet? If not, maybe consider picking it up on Steam. Links will be in the description down below. For now though, thank you for watching. Let me know if you'd like to see more Zero Sievert content maybe in the comments below, but I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.